at home today. We're so glad when you drop by. Today we're going to talk about frittatas. Does anybody in the studio have an idea of what it means? No, no. Maybe a yes over here. No, no, oh no. Gee, okay, it's education time. Listen up, everybody. Frittata, an Italian omelet that usually has the ingredients mixed with the eggs rather than being folded inside, as with a French omelet. It can be flipped or the top can be finished under a broiling unit. An omelet is cooked quickly under moderately high heat and after folding has a flat-sided half oval shape. We know what we're talking about here, okay? A frittata is firmer because it's cooked very slowly over low heat and round because you never fold it. Today we're doing a frittata. The thing I like most about frittatas, and Paul and I eat them a lot, is that it can be a breakfast idea, it can be a brunch idea. You could serve it for lunch with a salad. You could serve it for a quick dinner when you come in and don't know what else to make. You always have eggs in the house. Eggs are the basis for a frittata. So we're going to do one of those today. And a wonderful buttermilk apple coffee cake. Something that could be used for dinner or could be used for breakfast. I'm trying to make it, versatility here. We're always glad when you drop by. We're so glad that the family is here. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope that you realize God's presence is very close. In fact, at the mention of the name of Jesus, the scripture says he is right here. He's right here right now. And he's here to hear your faintest cry or what you have to say to him today. He never turns a deaf ear. Don't forget, he's as close as the mention of his name. He's right here. We're glad you're right here with us today. We're going to start a frittata in just a moment. But first, here's today's at-home hint. We'll be right back. Here's today's at-home hint. Never buy frozen foods if there are large ice crystals on the packages. Foods may have been thawed and then refrozen.
If you have an at-home hint, a favorite recipe, or just a friendly greeting you'd like to share, we'd like to hear from you. Post it in the comments of this video or visit our Facebook page.
Well, before we get started with the frittata, I want to bake that, put that buttermilk apple coffee cake together. And for that, we're using an 8-inch. This has a removable bottom. This is a springform pan, and we've greased it really well. It's important to do that because you want to be able to get it out. Now, you can use just a regular cake pan, but it's just easier to get it out if you use a springform, okay? And here we have some flour. We're going to put that, because we're going to combine that with the flour, a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Sticking down in there, come on. There we go. And about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And we're just going to aerate those with the fork just to make sure that they're combined. And we're going to set that aside because that's going to come back into use in just a little bit. What I'm going to talk you through is what we've done with apples. We took 1.5 cups of apples, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. We put it on and let it cook until it was syrupy, about 5 minutes. You want to keep stirring this to make sure that it doesn't stick, and keep your flame not real high. But then after that happens, you have to take it off and let it completely cool. You don't want to use this when it's hot. That's why we did it ahead of time, so that at this point we would have it nice and cool, which it is. Now, we're going to get together now, and I'm going to put some butter. This is, let's see how much butter. A couple of tablespoons of butter and some sugar. Make sure I get these right for you. 1/3 of a cup of sugar, okay? We're going to cream that with the mixer because it just makes it easier. It makes it lighter and fluffier and better. And I want to make sure they incorporate very well until it's nice and creamy. And then we're going to add just 1 egg. This is just going to be adding 1 egg to this. I like a little portable mixer every once in a while because you don't have to drag out the big mixer if you happen to have to put it away every time you use it. So we add the egg. You see it's a nice rich batter forming. scrape down your sides, make sure it's getting combined very well. Okay, now we're going to add our extracts, and they would be vanilla, which would be 1 teaspoon, and you can just eyeball this. You don't have to like exact, you know. And some of our favorites, we also add some almond extract, which to me picks up any cake mix you make, anything you make, add some almond. And this is less. This would be half of the vanilla, which would be about 1/2 teaspoon. Remember, this is potent. It's an extract. It's a condensed of the smell and the fragrance. So you want to don't overhand it, okay? Okay, here we go. Now, we're going to add the flour a little bit at a time, like that, and combine it. Then we're going to take some buttermilk. It's really only 1/4 of a cup, but I have much more than I need here. But I'm just going to start putting in a little bit at a time. And it's amazing. We were talking about the effects buttermilk has on things that you use. The best biscuits in town you can make with buttermilk, you know that. Good cooks out there know that. And pancakes, man, the buttermilk pancakes are the best. Again, you want to make sure you scrape it down. There we go. And we're going to add some more flour. And we'll add some more of our 4th cup total buttermilk. Now, if you want to measure that out, of course you do that. Then you'll know you have the proper amount. I'm eyeballing it because I kind of know, okay? And again, we want to blend after each addition to incorporate it very, very well. This is it's so nice to have something like this. This only bakes 25 minutes in a preheated 350-degree oven. It's nice to have this in the morning, like maybe on a Sunday morning. Mostly Saturday morning, probably better than Sunday because we're always in a rush to get to church. But it's nice to have this on a special morning when you're preparing that special breakfast for your family. Why not just say, okay, this is the day we're having the buttermilk apple coffee cake. And then just show them. They'll love you, Mother. They will love it. And it's not hard. It's put together easily. You could do your apples the night before. Just bring them out. They have them in the refrigerator over the night. Bring them out, pop them in the microwave just so they get room temperature because you don't want to do it cold. And really, you'd have it no time flat. You say, do I have to use an 8-inch pan? Well, you can see this doesn't make a whole lot of batter. So if you make it 9-inch, it would really be thin. I don't think that would be as good. So I would stick with an 8-inch pan. But if you don't have a spring form, that's okay too. All you want to do is make sure that you grease it well so that when it's time to take it out, you can get it out, okay? Let's see, we'll give it another quick one right around the bend here, like that. There we go. And I think we're there. All right. Now, this is beautiful and creamy. Very nice, very smooth. Now we're going to place this into our prepared pan, and we're going to spoon it in and spread it evenly in the bottom of it. It doesn't look like much, but with that baking soda and the buttermilk helps that along too. It'll be fine because we're going to put our apples right on top of this. And make sure you scrape that bowl nice and clean. Okay, now scrape this all off. I like to do stuff like this, special stuff for breakfast. Because sometimes breakfast can be boring, sometimes it's like same old, same old. Well, Paul, what do you want? No, I guess eggs. Oh, I guess this. It's just nice to do something different for a change. So we spread this just like this all over the bottom of our pan. Take it to the edge. Because remember now, your apples are going to go right on top of this. There we go. Nice and even. Then we're just going to spoon these. There'll be a little bit of a syrup in with them, but that just goes on top. If you have time, you want to make a fancy design, you go for it. If not, just spoon them out like I am. Just make sure that every bite will have a piece of apple. Okay? Make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees, really important, like I always tell you. You want to make sure that that's the temperature that you're working with. And we're still not done. After we get all the apples on, one more step. Wonder what would go good with apples and something that tastes almondy. You got it. We're using almonds. We're just going to sprinkle them right over the top like that. If you like more, put more. If you like few, put fewer. That just gives it another crunchiness to it, which is really nice. And this is going into the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes or until it starts to pull away from the edge of the pan, okay? We're gonna take a break while I'm doing this, and when we come back, we're gonna start the frittata.
Do you love watching At Home with Arlene Williams? Then be sure to check out our new YouTube channel. It's filled with classic episodes from over 20 years of At Home, and more videos are added each day. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
Well, our buttermilk apple coffee cake is in the oven. Smells already beginning, and it's wonderful. We're gonna get the coffee going. But first we have to get ready for the main course, okay, of our breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you want to use this with. This is a great centerpiece for either one of those meals. I have my good old-fashioned, God bless us, iron skillet. And the meat accompaniment to this, because I don't put meat in my frittata, some people do. They'll put sausage in there, and they'll put bits of ham or bacon or whatever. I kind of don't like that. But we're gonna use some Canadian bacon. Now, Paul likes this sliced thick, like almost like into a steak size. And that's when it's really, it almost like gives a feeling of like a chunk of ham. And if you're gonna make biscuits or something, that would be great to do. Also, Canadian bacon is one of the leanest of all the meats. There's like, look at this. Do you see fat on this at all? It's very, very lean. And it's amazing at how tasty this is. And you don't want to overcrowd the skillet, which I've probably already done. So we're gonna just brown these off. That's all we're gonna do with this. So this can cook slowly while we do the frittata. In a large skillet that is coated with a non-stick surface. You have just, you know what I've told you before, if you don't have one, invest the money and get one because you really need it, okay? We have some oil and some butter. We use both because if you use just butter, it would smoke and burn. So if you put the oil with it, it kind of tempers it and you get to cook it longer because this is gonna cook a little while, okay? Now, and you also want to make sure that this skillet has a handle that can go into the oven because we're going to put it under the broiler. And some handles will melt on site because you're at 550 degrees usually. So you just want to be sure that it's a good handle and it's a good skillet. And tell that when you're looking for what you're going to do, tell that to the people that you're going to buy it from, okay? Okay, first of all, we're going to add some onion. We're going to add some onion to our frittata. We're going to add some green pepper. Now, I like this because if I have leftover potatoes, like fried potatoes in the fridge, I'll chop them up and put them in. I might even bake one little potato in the microwave, bring it out, chop it up, and put it in this. This is kind of a leftover thing. You got a little handful of broccoli or cauliflower or zucchini, this is the time. With all the stuff coming in from the gardens, this is a perfect place to enjoy it. And I like it with this, all these different flavors too. And then of course, we have to have our ever-present garlic. So we have a little garlic action going there. Okay, and I'm gonna let those just sweat. I don't want them getting real brown and nothing like that. We don't want that, okay? So they're just gonna sweat. And what I'm doing here is getting my eggs ready because I'm going to use 4 or 5, depending on the size. These eggs look a little small, so I added an extra one. So now I have 5 eggs in the bowl. And we have to flavor these eggs. But the thing I like about a frittata, and this is my own addition, I've never read this, but this is what I do, because I find that this works. I better turn that bad boy down just a nip. There we go. I don't want them getting all browned there. Okay, in fact, I'll put the few little mushrooms in there. Let them get cooking too while we're doing this. Okay, now, I got the eggs going. First of all, we're gonna salt and pepper them. Cayenne pepper, fresh ground pepper, however you want. It's at your pleasure, do it. Now we're gonna add some salt. Remember, eggs need some salt. And this is what I do. I add a couple of tablespoons of flour. It's really different, I know. To me, that gives it some sustenance. It gives it a body. If you're watching your carbs, don't use the flour. This is a very good dinner if you're watching your carbs, by the way. Okay, so I just basically put this in. Sometimes, like when we're here working, we've got a lot of shows to do, I'll say, hey, we're gonna have lunch or what? Inevitably, we have eggs, and I know when they say, do we have eggs? Or if I say, do we have eggs, we're all going for a frittata. And we enjoy it so much, the girls seem to enjoy it, and to me it's fun when people are looking forward to what you're cooking and they really want to eat it. That's half the fun for me, the joy. Okay, I think we better take a quick look at what's going on over there with our Canadian bacon. Again, we're just turning it and flipping it, turning it and flipping it. This you do at the very last minute, very, very last minute, okay? Now I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. That goes in there too. Any other kind of a seasoning you'd like to use, this is the time to do it. This is the time. Now, what I'm going to do here, I beat my eggs. Okay, I'm going to pour them right over the top of the veggies. Now, this is the kind of a utensil that I like for this. You kind of want to get the vegetables pretty much to the center, and then you're going to pour your eggs in this egg mixture all over, making sure that it covers everything, just like that. Okay? Easy to do. Now, here's the key. You're going to want to start pushing back. Push back. Hey, be quiet over here. Trying to let me know it needs some attention. Just keep pushing back. That's why the non-stick is the best. Because if there's anything worse than runny eggs, I don't know what anything's worse than runny eggs when it comes to eggs. But you want to keep cooking them and pushing them back, because that's going to set them up just like that. Okay? Go all around the edge of the pan. You're pushing them back. Okay? Let me see if I can do this better with this little pointed one. There we go. Just keep pushing them back until you realize you can feel that the bottom of it's setting up. See here how it's starting to set around the edge? That's when you know the eggs are setting. But you want to tilt your pan to let the egg on the surface that is not cooking as quickly. You just want to keep pushing it. Now, what we're going to do with this, we're going to let this cook a little longer. I'm going to add some, chop some basil on top. I'm going to put some shredded cheese on it, put it under the broiler. Put it in the broiler about 5 minutes. You got to watch it, because it'll puff up and it'll get golden. And then we're going to do some tomato action on top. We come back, we're going to be in the dining room, and you're going to see what a real frittata from this kitchen looks like. We'll be right back.
Just go to ctvn.org/athome to get all the recipes from today's show for free. That's right, no subscriptions. They're available online at no cost, and more are being added each day. So join us at ctvn.org/athome to get today's recipes now.
Well, I think the table looks beautiful. You can see here is our beautiful buttermilk apple coffee cake. When that comes out, when it's done baking, all you do is make a little glaze. The recipe is included, 3 little ingredients, and then just drizzle it back and forth. This is good either warm or cold. Put a little cherry on top just to give it some color. Now, if you had some of that left over, I'd pop a piece of that in the microwave just for 10 seconds to take the dryness off of it, or drizzle a little butter on it or whatever. Oh boy. In front of our coffee cake is our frittata. And what you can see there is we covered it with the cheese, put it under the broiler till the cheese started bubbling and getting crusty around the edge, brought it out, put it on our serving plate, and then covered it with sliced fresh tomatoes and some delicious fresh basil on the top. That would serve probably 4 huge appetites, probably 6 nice appetites, and a taste for everybody if you're going to do it for a brunch with other things, okay? Now, beside that, you can see that we have some Canadian bacon that we decided we would put with that, because that's just a nice completes the meal out. It's not a heavy meat, but it's just nice and light. We just brown those in a little bit of butter, that's all. And now you say the breads for that. If I was serving it for breakfast, it would be the English muffin, and it would be the bagel that was toasted with some cream cheese or marmalade or strawberry jams or whatever you might have. If you're doing it for lunch, why not just add a tossed salad with it, some kind of a tossed salad, and get some dinner rolls and just split them like we've done there beside the tossed salad. And we put a little bit of garlic and parsley flakes. There's a spice that McCormick makes, and just put that on after you butter them and let them just toast in the bottom of that skillet for a few minutes. We've added iced tea if it's a lunch or a dinner, and coffee any other way. Any way at all, it's good, and we're so glad to see you. Be sure to join us the next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you.
Furnishings provided by Levin Furniture, featuring Lane's Country Living Collection. Food provided by Jordan Banana Company, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Trevosburg, Pennsylvania.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.